friends. In this lecture, I'm going to teach you Slutsky equation. Previously, I hope all the topics are very much clear. Be with me throughout the lecture. I'll continue with this chapter right now. Okay. So, first thing under the Slutsky equation, we'll understand substitution effect, the income effect. What exactly is substitution effect? Let's understand this. So, there are two parts of a price effect, which is decomposed into substitution and income effect. Yeah. So let's just understand what substitution effect is. It is the change in demand due to change in rate of exchange between the two goods. What it means is, if there is a change in the price ratio between the two goods, simply because of the change in price, how is it that the demand is changing? This is given by the substitution effect. Now, in terms of income effect, what is an income effect? It is the second effect, which is a part of price effect. It's actually called as change in demand due to change in the purchasing power as a result of due to change in prices. Suppose the price fall, ultimately real income given by M by P, if P falls, real income given by this will rise, and so we can say that the purchasing power of the consumer will rise, and therefore the decisions in terms of the choices of the bundle that the consumer is willing to choose, due to the income effect, the choice set again further varies, in addition to the substitution effect. Let's understand the same analysis graphically. We have understood so far what is substitution and the income effect. Graphically, let's understand the same analysis. So let's plot demand curve. This is the budget line, corresponding to which I plot indifference curve here. Suppose this is my point of optimum, interior optimum we have where we find tangency between IC and the budget line. So initially this is my optimum point. Now suppose this budget line was given by P1 x1 plus P2 x2 equals to M. Now suppose P1 falls. Now as P1 falls, definitely the income opportunity for the consumer will rise. And how will the budget line shift? This intercept will not change because P1 is changing. So at this point x1 is 0, so therefore x2 equals to M by P2, and hence this point is not changing. But this point will change from M by P1 initially to M by P prime, P1 prime. So if P1 prime is less than P1, so M by P1 prime is greater than this value. So I connect the 2 point here, which is the new budget line here, and say this is my point. Okay. Now at this point, at this new budget line, corresponding to it, I can find another point of optimality, given I have indifference curve as convex shape. Suppose this is my another bundle, say this is B, this is A bundle. Now what can we infer? At bundle A, I say there is X, which is the consumed bundle, corresponding to P1 and M, income initially. At point B, however, we have good X, corresponding to which price is different but income is same. Okay, as such income is not changed. Now in order to understand the decomposition of the total price effect, which we just discussed, price effect is a sum of substitution effect and the income effect. In order to understand this price effect, let's decompose the effect like this. Graphically, how do we do? First, given that the real income has increased, okay, we take away the income from the consumer in such a way that we make the consumer as well off as before, which means we take away the income of the consumer in such a way such that he is able to afford the new bundle but with the new prices which this consumer is facing. So I shift this budget line parallelly downward and I say this is my new budget line which is passing through bundle A, because we are discussing some Slutsky decomposition effect. In Slutsky decomposition effect, we make sure that the real income is changing, because of which if I need to take away the income to make the consumer as well off as before, we make sure that the new income is passing through the original bundle. Okay, so if it is passing through the original bundle, this is my new budget line BL3. Suppose I refer it to as BL any other budget line. I can find another IC which is passing through my new budget line, and can we find this IC? Say this is IC2, this is IC3. IC2 is lying somewhere between IC1 and IC3, and corresponding to which there is a point of optimality and I refer to as point C. Can I say that at bundle C he is rather better off than at bundle A? Now if we have to decompose the effect, we understand total effect is from point A to point B, right? This is what we initially said, that we move from point A to point B. Now how are we decomposing this effect? Since the real income of the consumer has increased because of a fall in the price of a good, we take away the income of the consumer to make him as well off as before, such that he is able to afford his original bundle. Exactly, given this new bundle, given this new income that he's having now and the new prices that he is facing, we find optimum somewhere at point C. Okay, now the movement from A to C is actually defined as substitution effect. I'll just explain why is that so. So can we say that point C here corresponds to the demand where we have new price P1 prime and new income as well. Since the slope is different of the budget line, we know that the prices are new, and since I take away the income of the consumer, it's no longer the original income of the consumer. So hence I have M prime as the new income of the consumer. So that's why point C here in between correspond to this demand bundle. So now how do we understand the difference between substitution and the income effect? The movement from point A to point C is given by, it's called a substitution effect. Can we see from comparing point A and C? Here basically what the consumer is doing, initially as the price has fallen, as a result of which both real income has changed and the price has changed, but the change in demand is happening here solely because of the change in the prices, which is referred to as substitution effect. The consumer is substituting away demand from other good to this particular good. So point A to point C, when we compare, the demand for the other good X2 has fallen, but the demand for X1 has risen, which clearly shows that you are substituting away the demand from other good to this particular good, and hence substitution effect is in this direction, which means that as price has fallen, the demand has risen. I call it a positive substitution effect. Positive, it means there is an inverse relation, but this is a positive substitution effect, in order to just understand that it's a normal behavior of a given normal commodity. Okay, moving on to income effect. The movement from point C to point B is defined as income effect. So point C to point B, if you check here, can I say the price is not changing? Here the only difference, point C to point B, only impact is due to the change in income. So income is changing because I take away the income initially of the consumer, so that we can understand the decomposition of the price effect. Hence the movement from point C to point B is reflecting the income effect. Now let's see in what direction income effect is moving. So can I say as income of the consumer is fallen, because I have taken away the income of the consumer, the demand has further increased from point C to point B. So in both direction, both income effect and substitution effect are indicating that as price has fallen, the demand will rise because of substitution as well as income effect. So in both case, can we say the demand for X is rising, right? So it moves from this point to this point and then this point to this point. So that's how we understand the decomposition of the price effect into substitution and the income effect. Now I will just quickly explain the same analysis through an example. Okay, now suppose the demand function is given to us like this: x1 equals to 10 plus m by 10 p1 is simply a demand function which is given to us. We'll understand how does substitution and income effect is playing into the picture. Initially, let's assume the income is given to us 120 rupees. Okay, price of the good, suppose initially is 3 rupees. So given this, initially can I compute the demand? Just put the values of income and the price here. We get x1 equals to, put the values, it becomes 10 plus m120 upon 10 into 3. This value will come out to be 14 units. Now suppose the price of the good here falls to 2 rupee. Okay, suppose the price falls to 2 rupees. So now we're going to understand how will the demand and income change here. Now given that the price has fallen, can you compute the new x1? So if I just plot the diagram again so that the diagram is still in your mind. This was my initial bundle, say this is point A, and it falls to this level, so I move to point say B, and I take away the income of the consumer such that he is able to afford the bundle at A. He is at point C now. So point A correspond to P1 M, point B correspond to P1 prime, where P1 prime is less price, P1 prime is less than P1, and point C correspond to P1 prime and M prime. Okay, let's compute all of it. So initially what we have computed is point A bundle here. Now suppose the price has fallen to 2 rupee. So at a new price level, let's compute bundle at point B. So which means x1 we compute at P1 prime and M. So income is same at 120. If you just put the values here, it becomes x1 equals to 10 plus 120 upon 10 into 2. So compute this value will come out to be 16 units. Okay. Now we get the bundle at B point. We'll compute now the bundle at C point. Okay. So I'll just write down the result here. At bundle A point it's 14 unit, at bundle B point it is 16 units. So ultimate effect is from A bundle to B bundle, which shows that this is the total effect. B is the total effect of a fall in prices from 3 to 2. This is the total increase in the demand. Now, in order to decompose this effect, we first understand the impact from A to C. Okay, so for that we need to compute C, and before that we need to compute how much is the new income. Now, it need not be given to us what's the new income, because we can directly compute from the analysis here. My new income is actually a reduced income. Out of my income, I take away the income of the consumer. And how much income am I taking away of the consumer? It is exactly equal to the change in price times X. So we understand that he should be able to afford my bundle at A, right? And I am taking away the income of the consumer in such a way he is able to afford the original bundle at A. So my change in income exactly equals the change in price times the consumption. So if you computed, the change in price was from new price to old price. New price is 2. So 2 minus 3 times X consumption initially was 14 at A. So it becomes minus 14. So I take away the income of the consumer by how much value? Minus 14. So my new income therefore becomes 120 minus 14. So this value becomes 106. Alright. Now moving on. So at point C, if I compute my demand, this is at P1 prime, M prime, or I can write X at new price 2 and M prime is 106. Compute this value. You will compute by putting the values and you will get 15.3 as the end result. At point C, this is my answer. So how much is the total substitution effect? Substitution effect, I can write it's equivalent to difference between consumption at point C and point A. So which means 15.3 minus 14 original. Point C minus consumption at point A. This gives me substitution effect of 1.3. Alright. Now in order to compute what is my income effect, how much is the income effect? Now in order to compute income effect, we simply can take the difference of the bundle at point B minus the consumption at bundle point C. So this is the difference between 16 minus 15.3, which is 0.7. So this is the value of income effect in the positive direction, which means as the price has fallen, my demand has increased by this level. 0.7 is the increase in demand because of income effect. 1.3 is the increase in demand due to substitution effect. So total effect is given like this by 2 units. Okay. So I hope the example is pretty much clear. Now I will just explain to you the total change in demand mathematical expression of a Slutsky equation. So keeping the diagram in mind, we can understand total change in demand. So total change can be written as change in demand due to substitution effect plus change in demand due to income effect. Say I define income by N, and if I write here total change was P1 prime M minus X at P prime, simple P1 and M. This is equal to substitution effect is how much? So if you recall the graph, this is P1 prime M prime minus X1 P1 M plus X1 P1 prime M minus X1 P1 prime M prime. Now, so you will be better able to relate it when I plot the diagram again. Say this was A bundle and this is say C bundle and B in between. Okay, so point A to B is the substitution effect. Point A was P comma M. Point B was X1 corresponding to new price, new income, B, P prime, M prime, and point C was corresponding to new price but the same level of income here. The income is not changing but the same level of price. So point C minus point B, that's how the Slutsky decomposition equation is stated. Okay, so remember this thing. Now I'll move on to the case for a Giffen good. and inferior good. You will better understand the given good and inferior good through this analysis now. So far we just discussed the case for the normal good. Okay. So on one side I'll just plot inferior good case, and here I have the case for given good. Okay. So in case of inferior good, as the price is falling, suppose initially we say P1 falls. P1 means price of good one is falling. So keeping this thing constant, I have a new budget line, say here, and I move from this optimum to another optimum here. So initially if I was here, so this is new point at C. Okay. In case of inferior good, we will find the ultimate price effect is that because of fall in price, the ultimate demand will increase. Can we see from point C to point A, the demand has actually increased, or actually I should write it like this inversely. So from A to C, if I check, we can say that the demand for ultimate price effect says it's increased. But now what's the difference between inferior and the normal good? We'll just understand. So if I decompose the price effect and I say I take away the income of the consumer such that he's able to afford his original bundle, okay, suppose he's here. Now in this analysis, the substitution effect is so high because it's an inferior good. Okay, what is the understanding behind the inferior good? As the price rise, usually the demand will fall because it's inferior in nature, so people would move toward more superior goods. So because of the substitution effect, the consumer will substitute away the demand toward. So substitution effect definitely will be positive, which means that as the price is falling, the demand will rise because it's a substitution, normal substitution effect is happening. So suppose I increase my demand to this level initially. Okay, say this is x1, this is say x1 dash, x1 double dash. So initially my demand increased because of substitution effect from x1 to x1 double prime. Okay. So in that sense, substitution effect is positive. So remember I had stated positive substitution effect means inverse relation between demand and the price. So price falling, demand is rising, usual substitution effect. Now because of income effect, what is happening? So I feel that because my real income has increased as a result of fall in the price, my real income has increased, the consumer will tend to increase. So because of a fall in price, instead of increasing the demand for good X, he's going to reduce the demand for good X because of income effect. So as a result of which, movement from point B to C is in negative direction. Okay, it's not a positive direction movement because of a fall in the price, the demand is not rising. Since it's a inferior good, I repeat, the fall in the price of this good has made the real income of the consumer higher, as a result of which this consumer feels that since x1 is an inferior good, the demand for x1 will not rise because it's an inferior good. The demand due to the income effect will actually fall from point B to point C. Can we say it's in negative direction? But ultimately overall effect is that from point A to C it's a positive effect. So A to B, then to point C. So although even if it's negative effect, but the positive effect is much larger, the magnitude of positive effect is much larger, and as a result of which overall effect is that the result is positive, which means the inverse relationship, the usual law of demand will hold for an inferior good, which means that as the price has fallen, the demand will ultimately rise for an inferior good. Now let's understand the case for given good. What happens in case of given good? Now let me draw the budget line corresponding to which we have an optimality at point A. Now if I say the price falls, this is my new budget line corresponding to which my new demand will lie somewhere. We will find in a given good it will be the case that ultimate effect will lead me to a lower demand. So this would be somewhere a point of optimality where the ultimate consumption will actually decline. Okay, let's decompose the effect. Giffen good is a special case of inferior good. Okay, example of which could be, say, potato. It's quite possible for some consumers, as the real income is rising because of their fall in price, their demand will actually fall because people may switch their demand toward more superior goods. Okay, so let's decompose the effect into the substitution and the income effect. As a result of substitution effect, first I take away the income of the consumer such that he is able to afford the original bundle. I take away the income. Now I find an optimality of substitution effect somewhere here. So definitely my substitution effect is positive. So this is point B here. Okay, here is my, say, x1, this is x1 prime, this is x1 double prime. So x1 to x prime is definitely positive because of substitution effect. It's always in positive direction, which means that as price fall, definitely the demand will rise because you are substituting away the good toward the good for which the price has fallen, or vice versa. But due to the income effect, the negative income effect is so large. The magnitude of income effect from B to C, I can say, is so large that the positive substitution effect magnitude is not leading us to the normal result of law of demand, and hence here the law of demand will fail to persist, and ultimate effect from A to C reflect that the ultimately what we find is that because of a fall in price, the demand for the good here, demand for the given good will actually decline as a result of the fall in price. So keep this in mind. That's the important difference between inferior and the substitution effect and the given good, that in case of the given good, the negative income effect magnitude is larger than the positive substitution effect. However, in case of inferior good, the positive substitution effect magnitude was larger compared to negative income effect. Right? So positive substitution effect is larger compared to the negative income effect. However, in case of normal good, we found that both substitution effect was positive as well as income effect was positive, and hence therefore price effect was positive. Okay, so I hope I am able to make myself clear in terms of the difference between inferior and the given good. Next, I'll move on to various examples of different types of indifference curve, and we'll understand how the substitution and the income effect can be decomposed. Okay, so first case I'll take perfect complement case. So we have L-shaped ICs, right? Now given this is my original budget line, I have an optimality point here, so let's label it as BL1 to denote it's the original budget line. Now if the price fall, budget line will become flatter. P1 if I am saying, so to quote that P1, if it is falling, then the budget line will slope minus P1 by P2. If the numerator is falling, this slope of budget line becomes flatter. So I make a flatter budget line and say, suppose here is the new point of optimality. This is point A, this is point B. So at B, it's my total effect. So point A to B is my total effect or the price effect, and ultimately the effect is as a result of fall in price, the demand from A to B has, I can say definitely X1 demand has increased. Okay, now decomposing this effect into the substitution and the income effect, I take away the income of the consumer such that he's able to afford the original bundle. So taking away the income such that he's affording the original bundle. Again, with respect to the new budget line, can I say the optimum is still at point A? Given this new budget line, the optimality will still lie at point A, and therefore, what can I say? There is no other point of optimality other than A on the new budget line which we have plotted. So that means there is no substitution effect. Substitution effect in case of perfect complement case is actually 0. Substitution effect is 0 here, and income effect is entirely visible from this bundle to B bundle. Entire effect of price effect is actually equal to the income effect, because substitution effect is actually 0 in this case. So this is the case with respect to perfect complementary case. Next I'll discuss the perfect substitute case. I hope it's clear. Okay, in case of perfect substitute, now let me plot various indifference curve. Suppose these are different ICs I am plotting. Okay, now initially, if my budget line was steeper than IC, so this is my BL budget line, if it was steeper than IC, so I have optimality here. Given this budget line, maximum IC is touching my budget line at this given point. Boundary optimum is lying at y-axis. So if this was my original choice optimum bundle I'm writing. Now with respect to a fall in price, if P1 falls, budget line becomes flatter. Why? Because that I've explained already, budget line slope minus P1 by P2. If this falls, it becomes more flatter. So budget line becoming flatter. So suppose this is my new budget line and it's touching my new IC at the point of optimality here. Okay. So if this was my original budget line, budget optimum point, point B denotes my another new optimum point. Okay, so what is it that if I decompose it into the substitution and the income effect, how will it change? Let's try to decompose the effect. Total effect we have understood from point A to point B. At point A, the consumption is x1 equals to 0 and x2 equals to m by p2 at point A. At point B, however, the consumption is x1 equals to m by p1 and x2 equals to 0, right? So what is it if I just decompose the effect? Now if I take away the income of the consumer such that he's able to afford the original bundle, right, can I say that the entire effect is actually the case that I move from point A to point B? It's entirely because of the substitution. It's the case of perfect substitute case, and hence what can I say? This is the final choice, this is my final budget line, and the effect, total effect from A to B is nothing but only substitution effect itself. So price effect from A to B is actually equal to entire substitution effect, and income effect is 0 here. Price effect is precisely equal to the substitution effect, because we can't take away the income such that he will afford this bundle, because it's already a bundle of optimality. So initially we were here, now we move to this point. It's completely because of the substitution that's happening in this picture. Okay, so I hope perfect substitute case, perfect complementary case, both are clear. Next I will quickly take you through quasi-linear preferences. So what if we have quasi-linear preferences? Okay, so Having plotted the graph for quasi-linear, if this is my original budget line, and I have various quasi-linear preference map, so these are my different ICs. Okay, so if this was my original choice of optimum, okay, and I change my income, first let's assume that price falls, as a result of which my original point is this and my budget line moves to a point like this. This is my new budget line, BL prime. This was the initial budget line. Now can I say the optimality is lying here, right? Now if I want to check how will my substitution effect and income effect look like, I take away the income of the consumer such that he is able to afford this bundle. Now I take away the income such that he is able to afford the original bundle. So this is my BL double prime. To denote, it's the new budget line with a new price set, new price ratio, as well as new income, in which I have taken away the income of the consumer. Why? Because I want to make sure that he is able to afford the original bundle. So given this point, can I have another IC in between? Just let's have another IC in between. But here we are able to see the point of optimality. Say this was initial point A, point B was the final point of consumption, point C is in between. So it's quite possible for quasi-linear case, usually it's the case that here entire difference of the price effect is completely because of substitution effect, and income effect is actually 0. So after a point, if the real income is changing, there is no impact on the demand for the good X. As the price is falling, there is no change in the demand for good X. Okay, so this is one important property and analysis under the quasi-linear case, that there is no income effect, entire price effect is actually the substitution effect. Okay, next I move on to the Hicks substitution effect is little different from Slutsky substitution effect. What is the difference behind Hicks and Slutsky? Let's understand. So having two goods here, X1 and X2, if I have original budget line corresponding to which I have optimum point here, which is the original choice. Now if the P1 price of good one falls, my budget line moves from this to another budget line, and I move from this point M by P1 to here, new point will be M by P1 prime, and correspondingly I have new point of optimality. So if this was point A, this was bundle B. Now Hicks substitution effect is that as the price has fallen and the demand has increased from A to B, my substitution or the composition of substitution and income effect into the price effect, here the decomposition effect is little different. Okay, we take away the income of the consumer such that he is as well off as before. So I take away the income of the consumer such that this parallelly shifted downward is somewhere touching the same original IC. It need not necessarily be the case, just like the Slutsky case, that he should be able to afford the original bundle. In case of his Hicks substitution effect, we say he should be as well off as before. That means taking away the income of the consumer such that he was still at his original indifference curve. So a point like this, say this is point C here. Okay, this movement from point A to C, if we now decompose the price effect, which is from A to B, if you decompose into substitution and the income effect, here substitution effect is from A to C, which is on the same IC level. So make sure that the difference is very much clear to you. In the case of substitution of the Hicks, according to the Hicksian analysis, We compensate the individual such that he is on his original indifference curve, and income effect is from C to B. So this is the main catch here in terms of difference between Slutsky and the Hicksian. I hope all the concepts are clear in this Slutsky equation topic. So this completes the chapter here. So if there are any doubts pertaining to any particular subtopic, you may post it in the comment box here. And if you like it, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.